Okay, I'm gonna give part of my comment right here.
If you could state your name and your address.
Certainly, ChairDaerr. So Senate Bill 554 amended the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act to include the requirement that agencies post the agenda for all public meetings at least 24 hours in advance. This change took effect August 29, 2021, and applies to all agencies covered by the Act. The agenda should include all issues to be deliberated on and any planned official action, such as votes. Now that was just a little precursor so the people and our residents who are unaware of that law change and how important it is for transparency understand the Act. Excuse me. So, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, may I close this door a little bit so I can see everybody here? I'd like to also.
Sorry, Mr. Calderon.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. I'd also like the public to be able to listen to this. I'm deeply concerned over the legality of this evening's meeting. And my public comment is going to be directed to you, Solicitor Dennis Makel, for your advice on this meeting. So, my concern is, I believe that this meeting agenda is insufficient in many areas. So if you turn to page 2, you'll notice that there's several blanks. 5, 6, and 7 fail to state a name of anybody who is going to be considered for hire and their rate of pay. If we move down to item number 11, there's a CPA firm being considered to do a 2022 audit, and there is no registered CPA firm on this agenda. And I don't know how the voting public can come in here and adequately, I'm sorry, I'll wait till Mr. Wilson's done speaking. I don't know how the public can come in here and legitimately make a public comment on this agenda when it is so sparse in detail. Move down, if you can, to motion or item number 13. And just by the way, serums, the acronym serums is spelled incorrectly. It's spelled as a medical term there. Motion to approve the 2023 payment of blank. So what are we paying? How can we make a public comment on what you're spending tonight when it's not legitimate in this agenda? So let's move on. If you go down to the bill pay, you'll see that it's blank. And also, there's a payroll that is blank. Now, more than the fact that this agenda, to me, is very concerning in its legitimacy, my deeper concern is that this agenda was changed at some point today. The agenda that I'm reading from, I had printed out this morning. When I came in here this evening, there's a different agenda that I picked up off of that board table. Can anybody explain that?
It wasn't 24 hours?
Well, let me go to the first point. If we would put down the person that we're hiring, then basically people would say, and I've seen this before, that we've already made a decision on who we're hiring, and basically that's a violation of the Sunshine Act. So from my experience, if we put that person's name down, that we're going to hire John Doe or Susie Q, then that would be a violation of the Sunshine Act because we made a prearranged decision prior to the meeting. So there's been no decision who they're going to hire tonight.
How is the public supposed to weigh in on such an important?
You don't put, but if we were to put John Doe,
Okay.
then the first thing I can hear, this is my experience,
Okay.
they said you made a predetermined decision prior to the meeting.
Okay. Well, that's your opinion. I've seen it done with approve, deny, the name of the candidate, the name of several candidates, and the opportunity for a board to deliberate in front of the public on who they are picking.
And all vote yes.
And a rate of pay. So that's my opinion. I respect your opinion.
Go ahead.
No, that was my statement on that. Any comment on the rest of the blanks and how we're supposed to, as the public?
Well, again, if we made a decision saying we're hiring John Doe accounting firm, then you would say basically you made a decision prior to the meeting. So right now we can't do that. That'd be a violation of the Sunshine Act.
I question how a name would
just telling you how we do it, I'm just telling you how we do it elsewhere.
The CPA firm, Mr. Maple, was there a public bid on that?
You don't have to do an advertising.
Okay.
Professional service, it's not required.
Okay, okay. What about the payroll and what about the bill pay list?
You're not doing payroll? Okay.
Because of the switching from Mr. Palermo to ADP, there was a delay in payroll.
Okay, the bigger concern is why was the agenda changed?
Was it changed from 6:30 last night?
Yep.
No, not from 6:30 last night, no.
I have a copy of an agenda that looks vastly different than what's on the table. How would I, as a citizen, be able to
Well,
pull that from where?
Well, what you could do, again, I don't know what's, I didn't look at the email, I didn't look at the website last night, but if something was added, Act 65 of 2021 was adopted in August of 2022, I believe, and basically requires you to add things to the agenda. You can't add things to the agenda. Was anything added to the agenda prior to 6:30 last night?
No, the payroll was taken off between 5 and 6 because ADP couldn't process it in time.
Mr. Maple, I would like to refer you, you can look at my copy here, but there's a whole additional line item on here that makes a motion to, excuse me here. Let's see here. It's a Brassy, Breland, Bassey motion.
I see, just in case. We have
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, so was that, okay, so this is the bill we had to pay for, pay for mediation fees?
Due
because
to
of
the
the-
prior board applying to a judge, yes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Supervisor Dupree, you said a former board lying to a judge, is that what you just said?
Go on, do you have any other comments?
Was that what you just said?
Do you have any other comments?
So, Mr.
So
Maple-
my understanding is that fee was because there was a previous litigation.
Okay, that's
To an extent.
irrelevant. The
Right.
relevancy of this conversation right now is was the agenda changed mid-stream outside the public
No,
eye?
between 5 and 6. But if
Excuse
somehow
me?
the draft agenda went up, we could do an amended agenda. But
So
that
if
one
it
line item-
wasn't there at 6:30, we could just make that as a motion to amend the agenda at the end of the meeting.
For the Bassey, it's court ordered by the judge.
So there's several other items on there that was amended. Are you guys ahead of that? Do you understand what your agenda looks like and how you've changed it outside of the public eye?
The court, Act 65 requires the township to post this agenda 24 hours in advance of the meeting. If anything, you can't, if it wasn't there prior to that meeting, then you're gonna have to make a motion to add that to the agenda. Pursuant to 65. I didn't know it was on the agenda at 6:30 last night. I didn't.
So, Mr. Maple, there was significant changes made to this agenda outside of the public eye, and I'm deeply concerned over it. And I'm not going to do the homework of this board and point out everything, but I think it would be wise for the public here to understand what's happening. And for them to have an agenda that's true and correct before any legislation is done this evening. Thank you very much.
So the Reno thing wasn't on the agenda at 6:30?
Well, it was
Well,
on
this
it.
is the agenda that would have been posted on last night, because that's not
You got yours, remember I went to go
Yeah.
post it after you,
So let me see what
so
you have.
what were you here about 4?
I left about 20 after 5.
20 after 5. So then the one that's not discussed that there had agreed to discuss it down the line. But I had it posted for the 6:30 one.
The agreement situation wasn't on there last night.
5.
At 5, okay, so that wasn't on the agenda. If you want, we can just delete that off the agenda, and we can do that at February's meeting, okay?
If you
And
wish, guys, you can still put it on there as a discussion.
you can basically make a motion to add it to the agenda,
Sure.
okay? I need that 65 and 2021. And then you have the procedure, okay?
And the payroll was taken off.
And the payroll was taken off, because we can't meet ADP situation.
Because, yeah, I'm switching over payroll companies, so there was no payroll.
There's one more that
What else?
you're
Your 4
failing to
minutes is
remember.
done. Moving on, any other public comment?